Mr. Ebenezer Tokwe. I don't know, please, let's welcome him. Let's welcome him. Let's welcome him. We are so glad to have you. So just let's welcome him. In a matter of minutes now, he will be coming up to address us. But in the meantime, just sending your emojis. Mr. Daniel, you're using your hand. Anything to say, sir?
Up my hands already now.
Okay, it's still coming up again, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Before we start briefly, I'd like to introduce the speaker to us so that while I do the introduction before he comes up. Can we all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. So I want to just tell us just briefly about our speaker for this evening so that we will know the kind of person he is. So our speaker this evening is none other than Olabinjo Ebenezer. Ebenezer is deeply passionate about product design and is focused on ensuring users breeze through tasks effortlessly. His design journey began 9 years ago in brand design and visual perception, but he shifted to product design about 5 years back with a strong emphasis on user research. His experience spans various sectors, making him a versatile designer who thrives on challenges. When he's not crafting designs, he's collaborating with diverse teams, using his leadership skills to drive projects forward. He is always eager to learn and grow, aiming to make a meaningful impact through his work. So guys, let's just give thumbs up to him. We have seen the kind of speaker that is going to be giving us dangerous impact. Let's just thumbs up to him. We are so lucky. We are glad to have him join us. We are glad to have you join us. So, Mr. Ebenezer, good evening, sir.
Hi, good evening. Sorry, I actually didn't catch your name when you speak.
Yes,
my name is a lot of.
Okay, my name is Kachi. My name is Oyekachi.
Oyekachi. All right.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Oyekachi, or good evening, Oyekachi, wherever you are. Good evening, everyone. Saying tons of emojis. Thank you very much, everyone. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to an amazing evening with everyone.
So, sir, how was your day, sir?
Yeah, well, all the best. I've actually been looking forward to at least speaking to people, speaking to everyone on this call, and at least impacting my bit to everyone. So yeah,
Yes,
my day has been optimistic towards this evening.
Wow, thank you very much, sir. We have all been waiting, as you can see. Some people joined this call, if I'm not mistaken, I think 10 or 15 minutes to this time, anticipating your arrival, because we know that you are really going to dish out value. I want to say a very big thank you, sir, for coming, for making out time to come and impact us and teach us. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
So thank you very much. First off, I would like to be referred as Ebenezer. So no need for the sir. We can deal with the sir later, right? But anyways, thank you very much, everyone. I'm glad to be here. I'm really, really thankful for the privilege to speak to you guys about what I love best. Kindly confirm if you can see my face, and I'll share my screen in a bit. Oh, awesome. So diving straight, okay. I think Bella has her hand raised. Okay. So can you confirm if you guys can see my screen? I think when I start sharing, I might not be able to actually see our reactions, but Just confirm if you can see my screen. Can we?
Yes, sir, we can see your screen now.
We can see your screen now, sir.
Yeah, we can see it now.
All right, no problem. So thank you very much, everyone. So my name is Olabinjo Ebenezer. As the host said, I think the host kind of flattered me a lot, but my name is Olabinjo Ebenezer. I've been doing design one way or the other. I like to casually say that design is my second life because I love the ideology of impacting people. So before we go, right, I'm going to assume we're actually going on a journey. So let everyone understand that we're going on a journey. It's going to be a journey of 35 minutes. I know that I have about 40 minutes to have this entire session with you all, but we're going to be using 35 minutes for conversation. And I have a little game at the end. So I'm really looking forward to everyone paying attention. I really look forward to everyone digesting the things we speak about here. And in 35 minutes time, I'll be asking us a question. Whoever gets my question correctly, I think there's something in stock for that person. So I'm going to be the driver for this bus, right? The bus of 30 minutes, right? And it's going to be an amazing journey, trust me. And truly, nobody should stop on the way. I'm hoping that we all get to the destination together. So as earlier said, right, my name is Ebenezer. Of course, lots of my friends, colleagues, and people like that call me Eben. I'm a user researcher, I'm a product designer, and I'm a visual perception expert. So I currently make use of my superpowers and these things I mentioned at Dodo Design. And just a little brief of history about myself. Like I said, I breed design. I love design. I love the ideology of impact that comes with design. And I'm very sure that everyone on this call actually understand that design doesn't just stop at you picking up a software and crafting something. Design encapsulates how well you actually impact people with your stuff, impact people with your research strategy, impact people with communication, amongst other things. So I'm going to put this out there. Design is not about what you do on your laptop. Design is about how well you can actually get people to live better lives. So this is just a short history about myself. Of course, I mentioned I've been doing design for 8 to 10 years. I transitioned into product design about 5 years ago, and I crafted a niche around user research. As you can see here, this is my favorite art. I actually drew that art about 5 years ago. This is my favorite book. It's Trevor Noah. It's titled Born a Crime. If you haven't read the book, I think you should read the book. It's a very amazing book, by the way. This is my favorite meme, as you can see down there. That meme is kind of linked with lots of amazing stuff in my life. And these are some notable brands I've worked with: the WAEC, the CBN, Polo Avenue, Gucci, amongst others. Then my second passion is astronomy. I love astronomy a lot. Astronomy is like, if I wasn't a product designer, most likely would be an astronaut, or maybe somebody gazing at the stars and drafting interpretation based on what's in the stars. Then I have a favorite quote. I think that quote has helped me quite a lot in my lifetime, right? The quote is, "Be ashamed to die until you have scored some victory for humanity." So, as I said, as I used to tell a lot of my friends, colleagues, one of the things you should strive most at is your impact to others. Even as designers, as user researchers, right? When you strive to actually make impact on people, on humanity, trust me, your work is going to definitely flow better. Imagine popping up a document for the sake of you wanting to actually make people's life better, right? It's going to give you a huge edge above everybody else. So, to the order of the day, of course, as the topic had said, we are speaking about strategies to enhance UX after product launch. So, I'm not going to come here to lecture you all on design, on user need statements and things like that. I understand that we have platforms like YouTube and all that can walk you through those. But what I'm going to be focusing on to you today is going to be intricacies of user experience. intricacies of product launch, intricacies on how to get these things done better, how to get it done in the right way, basically. So, what is UX? I know a lot of us hear the word a lot, UX, UX, UX. And I know some people might be on the call that are not like foundationally product designers. So, UX as a sound is a short form for user experience, right? User experience is wild. It's a very big industry on its own. And I believe that it's not an industry that just started. It's an industry that has been in existence since the dawn of time. User experience, imagine God designing human being and being like, oh, okay, oh, this boy, what will Adam used to listen? What will he used to see? How is he going to perceive the world? How can I design this tree as such that when he sees it, yes, he's going to have this kind of feeling within himself. When he sees the apple, when he sees the orange, how does he feel? Those things, these are the intricacies of user experience. So user experience is not just about the apple, the tree, or the orange. It's how exactly whoever is looking at the tree actually feels. So, in dictionary wise, they'll tell you user experience is what people feel, what people need, what people are accustomed to, amongst others. But I'm going to show us an illustration here. So, this is a cereal. Of course, we all know cereal. In Nigeria, we call it conflict, but we all know cereal. So, imagine eating the cereal itself as the user experience. But the raw cereal, the content, and maybe your spoon is the user interface. So a lot of people believe that user UX is the same thing as what you are designing. No, UI is just a component to help guide your user experience. So imagine if the spoon wasn't there, there's potential that the person eating the cereal might not be able to eat the cereal actually, which boils down to my very first UX question. So, what is my first UX question? I asked myself. All right, it's dated back to when I was about 8 years old. All right, I in our family we like going to church, and I remember one time when I was willing to go to a suggestion box and actually put something out because I was wondering why exactly was our pastor altar or pulpit higher than the congregation. I really was wondering. Little do I know at that point that I was actually asking a serious UX question. Of course, going old now, I have an understanding that the reason why the pastor is at the top is so that the whole congregation can see him better. But then I was thinking, okay, could the reason is there be because he's closer to God, which kind of gives the ideology of why people go to the mountain to pray. Well, that's a conversation for another day. So let's talk about the story of UX. By the way, I love art, I love colors, I love culture. But I'm going to use the ideology of the two different masquerade images you are seeing to describe what UX is. So imagine encountering two Nigerian masquerade, the Eyo and Egungun, both masquerade, right? But what sets them apart is the user experience they offer. When you see the area, you are thinking of, oh, the prestigious Lagos, the big boy Egungun, the big boy masquerade and all. And when you look at the other picture, you are thinking, the gods that can actually flog you. You know, that kind of feeling. So if you look at it very well, Eyo dazzle with simplistic approach, synchronized movement, immersing you in the Lagos cultural heritage. However, the Egungun on the other side evoke mystery, of course, reflection of tradition and spirituality. So in the digital realm, user experience is akin to this experience. So trust me, the thought that comes to your mind when you see an Egungun thinking, oh, this guy is going to flog me, is actually an experience. The fact that you saw an ale actually having some sort of distinguished element that just so calm, gentle, collected, feeling like the Banana Island masquerade is actually user experience. So it's how user experience can just be likened to how a product or object or services makes user feel. People think that user experience is only fitted in the realm of design. Of course not. Imagine going to an hotel and you are saying, "Oh, welcome, chief, welcome, mister, welcome," giving you all words and engagement, right? That's user experience. How exactly you feel, resonating around the things you see, is actually what the user experience is. But before we go straight into our strategies for enhancing user experience launch, let us look at UX myths. So I know a lot of us have some different conception about about UX, right? And I'm going to try as much as possible to clarify those myths today. The first one I'm going to be talking about is UX is just about design. Trust me, UX is not about design. It's not about what's it called? Picking your Figma, doing no, not at all. So there's always a UX. It's either good or bad. There's never a situation where there's no UX. So far, you're a human being, you are breathing and you're experiencing life, you are actually experiencing a portion of UX. So if you are picking a laptop, for example, you're looking for the switch button, the user experience, how you feel looking for that switch button. Are you finding the switch button in less than 1 second and the laptop is coming up? Or you're taking almost 50 decades to look for a what's it called? A switch button, right? So there's always user experience in everything. Before I continue, I'd like to confirm if you guys can hear me and people are following. Please just give me some sort of emojis if you guys are following. Oh, all right, cool. So the second stage I will talk about in the ideology of myths is UX is only for tech product. Trust me, this is the biggest lie ever. And personally, I believe it's a big slap on the olden days fathers that actually invented amazing stuff without the need of a computer. Like imagine Noah building the ark for all those fishes and those guys. Sorry, I'm a Christian, right? So I resonate with these stories a lot when I'm doing designs. So imagine Noah having to open Figma because he wants to create an app when he got the inspiration. Of course, UX is not about tech product. So once design UX is done, no, that's wrong. When you are done with your product, in fact, that should be where your user research and user experience actually starts, because that's when you get to know how people are feeling about the product, how well they're engaging with the product, amongst others. Then user knows what they want. This one I cannot overemphasize, because a lot of people believe that yeah, the user knows what he wants. Let him just tell me. Imagine you going to a doctor and telling the doctor, I have malaria. Is a very wrong approach, because the doctor will have to ask you. You won't be the one to tell me you have a malaria. Just let me know. How are you feeling? Are you feeling feverish? Do you have headache? Amongst other things. So the idea of saying user know what they want, it's technically wrong, because you are supposed to be the one to diagnose them, and from the diagnosis, right, you are creating a solution for them. I hope I'm able to clear up this myth, right? So boils us to the question why feedback is important to UX. Trust me, feedback is as fundamental to human as everything. To the minutest approach of throwing a stone and the stone actually hits where you want it to go, right? Or imagine slapping a child and the child doesn't cry, right? You'll be wondering what's wrong with this child. Is he rebellious? You even be curious. Or you use an hammer to strike a glass and the glass doesn't break. And you're asking yourself, what's happening? But the fact that the glass is going to break is meant to be a feedback. Feedback is fundamental to user experience, because it is how you get the response, it's how you get to understand the intricacies of what goes into it and all. And I have one fun fact. Even God, right? Like God himself actually loves feedback. Well, I won't go to reading, but you guys can probably check it out yourself. But you can't tell me the God that really wants to hear feedback from his children every day, or maybe even if it's the far followers and the other religion, one way or the other, their God still expects them to give them feedback. So feedback is super mightily important when it comes to UX. So now let's talk about product launch and enhancing user experience. So product launch, right, which is our main focus on this conversation. So product launch is beautiful, just as it is launching of a new product or launching of a particular service, right? So product launch, what is product launch? What is it about? So product launch is a strategic process introducing a new product or services to the market. It involves a series of planned activities and communication designed to create awareness, generate excitement, and drive adoption among target users. So this is the stage where you've done all your homework, you've done all your research, you have a product, you have a service, you are putting it out in the market, you are 100% ready to actually have people use that product, right? Of course, to put it out in the market, you have to do buzz, you have to create excitement, you have to create awareness and things like that. So products, the picture you are seeing here is one of the products I worked on. It's for the West African Examination Council. I just added the picture so you guys have an ideology of the different steps that goes into product launch. I'll go deep into that on the next slide. But basically, I just want you guys to have an understanding that launching a product is like you releasing things out. It's the final stage of all your background work, background check, research, Figma design, development, relating to products, right? It's where everything goes out. It feels like it's the cinema for all the action that the director has been saying all along. So what are the steps that are involved in product launch? So the first one is preparation and planning, right? So like I said, the product launch is a compilation of activities. Based on my experience, at least I've launched different products to the market. The one that stood out to me is the one I kind of co-founded, which is more of like a travel company. And I co-founded a travel company along with some of my friends. And while we're launching, right, it was a series of steps. It was a series of process. It was a series of compiling things together. In fact, it has nothing to do with the design. It has nothing to do with all those different development and whatever. It was when the product launch was done, then we now had to go back to the drawing board in terms of, okay, how did people engage with this product? How did they make use of it? Did it make them feel better, amongst other things? So the first step which I believe every organization follows, is preparation and planning. Of course, if you, like they say, if you fail to plan, right, you are planning to fail. So preparation, and you have to make serious plans, right? The next stage is product development and testing. By now, your product should be well developed. The testing should have been done. Everything should be market ready. For some products that I kind of was involved in the launching process, for the white project, for example, took about 2 years to get the product development and testing done before it actually goes to the market. So it's important that we have an understanding that your product has to be market ready before you say yes, you want to actually go out there. Somebody is raising their hands. Oh, okay. Don't worry, I'll take in questions when we are done. Oh, all right. So the next part of our product launch steps involves building buzz and anticipation. So I'll let you guys understand the impact of your marketing team. So you people that used to run away from marketing teams in your organization because you're a product designer, you're a UX designer, so you don't want to talk to marketing people. This is the point where you know that they're actually very big integral people in your product launch. You build anticipation, you have a launch event, just like the picture I shared on the other slide, and you kind of create some sort of announcement. So for the announcement, it's, of course, you are picking a date, you're saying this date, everybody should come and download our app, or everybody should come and use our services, or your hotel is about to launch, and things like that. So the next stage is marketing and promotion, right? So of course, as the UX researcher or as the product designer, you need to have an understanding of what is going out there so that they are not over promising, and maybe under delivering based on the products that you've designed. So you need to put all those things in check, ensure that they are actually up and running. Then the last part is post-launch support and follow-ups. So you are launching a new product to the market, you are launching new services to the market, right? There's a need to create plans. Sorry, somebody's mic is on. Can you please mute your mic? Thank you. So product launch support is very important. And one thing I didn't mention earlier was that no matter the product you build, right? No matter the product you build, it's important that you create a feedback loop with that particular product. So let me explain. So imagine building a fintech product, for example. There should be a way where you can gather feedback from the people that are actually using it. Trust me, couple of projects like let me use example of the work. I might not go into intricate details because of non-disclosure. This call is actually recorded, but I'll just give you guys like some little bit. So take for example, when we launched out the product, the work product, we've done lots of testing, loads of testing. And when the product actually launched, some things were not the way it's supposed to be because the way people are perceiving the product, the way the general public perceive the product was a little bit different from our test group. And it felt like, oh, if there were no feedback loop inside the platform we built that would throw out to the market, right, it should have been a bit catastrophic because from the feedback loop, that's where you get to know how people are using the system. Okay, are people opening the home button faster? Are people opening this page faster? Are people able to get access to their password and things like that? So you need to have like some structure for your post-launch support and how you can follow up on them. So I'm sure a lot of us have experienced this. Like, I don't know why, but WhatsApp compresses my sent pictures. A lot of I think we all experienced it where you send picture to your friend and you notice that the picture is very, very blurry, or you're trying to show how fine you are to your girls and you feel like, oh, like my pictures are not clear. So, but I think now WhatsApp has fixed that particular issue. But if there were no room for enhancing, sorry, somebody's mic is actually on. Thank you. So if there are no strategies to actually help enhance the user experience, right? Trust me, we won't be having the HD feature on WhatsApp that we do have right now. So enhancing UX is very, very, very important. So let me just have a little talk about enhancing UX. So enhancing UX involves improving the overall quality of interaction. This is related to products now, including the quality of interaction. Sorry, my slide is messing up. So it's more about including, I'm going to go back so we can all read. Yes. Okay. So enhancing UX involves improving quality of interaction between users and a product or services to make it more enjoyable, efficient, and satisfying, and for the stakeholders to make business rolling regarding to products now. So we need to understand that the reason why you're enhancing the UX is to ensure that the product you are putting to the market is more enjoyable. If the level of enjoyment is about 3, you should look forward to pushing it to 10. 3/10 is not good enough. You should look forward to pushing it to 6. If it was 8, if you look forward to pushing it to 9, 10. So it's important to understand that enhancing UX is super, super, super crucial for product. And like I said, I'll still bench in on the idea of feedback. Feedback is super mightily important. So what are the reason why we want to enhance UX, right? So the first reason is, number one, you want to optimize usability, right? Ebenezer is opening WhatsApp and he wants to get to speak to his mom quick. Oh, let us implement pin chat. Ebenezer is chatting with his friends or is chatting with his maybe loved one and he wants to send a love emoji, right? Should be able to do that. Ebenezer is trying to create multiple groups and he needs something to engage. Yes, he could do that. Another example I love a lot is the English Premier League. I know some guys, I'm an Arsenal fan, by the way. So you understand that over time, English Premier League has evolved in terms of the user experience. We have the likes of the FPL, we have the likes of the statistics, we have just to make sure that there's a feedback loop whereby you understand people's need, people don't get bored, and the usability to people gets better and better and better. Then the next reason why enhancing UX is important is you want to improve accessibility. Accessibility is very, very important. You cannot just create a platform that is only meant to be used on maybe a single phone. Imagine, look at Clubhouse. Clubhouse started on Apple, right? And they implemented the idea of invite one friend and invite one friend. And later on, when they saw that it wasn't sustainable, right, they had to expand their reach to the Android and let anybody actually register, other than having people to invite. So of course, we really, really want to improve accessibility. If it requires you, if you notice that, oh, okay, maybe this particular platform, the image is loading a little bit too too long than it should be. Maybe there's a need to change the image. Or maybe people that are using glasses, they cannot perceive a particular button very well. Then yeah, maybe there might be a need to change the button. Or maybe you notice that, oh, people don't click on this particular area of the website very well. Maybe there's a need to change the color just to make sure that that accessibility is there. The next thing is increasing of efficiency. And another reason why we need to enhance UX is to enhance the visual design. Then the remaining two reasons is number one, personalizing experience. I think this kind of explains itself. So, idea of Ebenezer is creating an account on WhatsApp. I like to use the WhatsApp example a lot because I feel like it's something almost everyone has. WhatsApp is becoming like a standard for communication right now. So imagine you're a business and you're opening the normal WhatsApp. So there's a need to personalize the experience for the kind of person that you are. So most likely the reason why they enhance WhatsApp to be able to have the personal experience and the business experience. Then lastly, iterative improvement. Of course, you really don't want to stay at a position. And when you talk about products and businesses, right, you really want to have an avenue where you iterate improvement, like where there's improvement, because you're in a world where there are sharks in the ocean, right? You're in a world where there are loads of competition. You really don't want to stay at a particular point. You want to improve. So the ideology of improving, imagine iPhone. iPhone has been a phone since around 2011 or so, and we could see the iterative improvement that had gone into it. If you bring iPhone 3 or iPhone 4 alongside an iPhone 15, trust me, the difference is very, 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 very far apart. Very, very far apart. And what's compounded to those big difference is the iterative improvement. So when you are looking to launch a product, or when the product has been launched, please look towards having it being improved bit by bit, bit by bit. Then for the improvement as well, I think I'm going to touch base on this later on in the presentation. It's important to know that cannot just change. Just wake up one morning and just be like, our web app is too boring. Let me just change the overall. Of course not. You shouldn't do that, because people, like we said, it's about experience. People are used to something. You cannot just change it all at once. So that's why iterative improvement is very, very, very important. So let's go into the order of the day, right? Now, I'm very sure we understand what UX is. I'm sure we understand what product launch is as well. And I've also spoken to us about the reason why we want to enhance UX. So now let's go into the strategies. I think the reason why we are here, the reason why you're my boss. And by the way, I'm glad nobody has said, oh, wow. So now we're going into the strategies for enhancing UX. So implementing strategies to enhance UX after a product launch involve a systematic approach to iteratively improve the user experience based on feedback and insight gathered post-launch. Emphasis on feedback. And I've been saying the reason why I told you that God, even God himself, the G himself, right, actually loves feedback. So everybody should love feedback. Imagine you are pressing your phone or you click on WhatsApp to open WhatsApp, and WhatsApp is not opening. Your phone is not giving you the feedback of opening WhatsApp. You're wondering what's wrong. You almost want to slam it at the wall. That's how it's important to product launch as well. So the feedback and the insight, very, very, very important. So you are not just improving based on, okay, I think this should be changed. I think this should be changed. No, you are improving based on feedback and the insight that you gather. So what are the strategies, right? So the first strategy I will talk about is collecting user feedback. I mentioned earlier, I probably will not be diving too much into all the taxonomies in the UX space. Of course, I'm sure YouTube will do that for you, but I really need to emphasize on this thing so you can have the inspiration to actually go and learn more about those things. And of course, if you like to ask me questions later, I'm so super open. So the first strategy is collecting user feedback. Like I said, feedback is very, very important. So not just in the area of design alone, even whatever space that you have, feedback is mightily important. Like I'll be expecting feedback from you guys as well when the presentation is done. So when we talk about collecting user feedback, you want to know what people feel about your product. You want to know how your product made them feel. Don't ask them, is it fine? No. You want to ask them questions like, what do you feel when you open this button? Or what is the totality of our platform or of our product actually does to you? You want to ask those questions. You want to understand from their human point of view how they feel. What do you feel when you enter our hotel? Not is the receptionist, you see the clothes she's wearing, is it fine? No, those are not the questions you want to ask. And like I said, when you're launching your product, put in feedback loops where you yourself can examine those feedback and actually use it to build up something interesting. Then analyze the user data. So when this data comes in, okay, data is like how many people are registering. That is why I said earlier that your marketing team is very key to this area, because they will be able to give you insight. Oh, okay, on our Instagram page, 500 people said they downloaded the app. Only 200 registered. Only 100 registered. So you get to ask yourself questions of, oh, okay, what's happening? Who does this? Who does that? So to get the answers to those, right, is through the analysis of those data. Then the next step is when you've analyzed the data and you are saying, okay, let us improve this, let us improve that. What you want to also look at is prioritizing this enhancement, right? You cannot just dive into it and say, okay, we want to change everything. No, you can't change everything. Imagine having to, when Apple released their iPhone, I think that should be 3S. And one of the updates from iPhone 3 to 3S was that you can use your, let me confirm, you guys should be able to see my screen. You can zoom like this, like you can double tap and you can zoom. So that was game changing in the industry, because in fact it caused in a lawsuit between Samsung and Apple, because Samsung felt Apple stole that particular feature from them. So prioritizing enhancement is very, very important. So sometimes I look at cars, right? I look at like a Toyota 2014 and I look at a Toyota 2013 and I'm wondering, okay, what's the changes in this thing? I'm sure a lot of us are on that table as well. When you see 4-year Toyota Camry or Toyota Corolla apart and you're asking yourself, what exactly did these people change? So they cannot just entirely change the wheel. They have to prioritize the enhancements. So they have to get feedback. So, okay, when you use our first version of car, what happened? I remember a particular version of Toyota Camry. That should be 2007. Of course, Camry is a product. We are not, like I said, it's not until you open Figma before you build products. Products cut across different industries. Um, I remember having to look at it and I noticed that, oh, okay, a particular year was consuming oil, and in the next year it was actually fixed. And that was like the center of fix that actually came in with that car. So it's important to prioritize enhancement. The reason why I'm dwelling on this is a lot of people just feel, okay, the user said they don't like it. They now just overhaul everything. No, it's going to put a lot of weight on your user. So, and the next part I would like to buttress on is iterate and test. Testing is very important. Don't just put out things. Don't just throw out your enhanced strategy or enhanced feature without actually testing. So let's go to the remaining strategies, right? The next one is going to be monitor performance, right? You want to monitor exactly how that product actually did in the industry. You want to monitor, oh, okay, did they actually got used to it very well? Were they able to play around it? Did they perform what is meant to perform? Did they fix the issue that you raised in the first instance? Just need to monitor those performance. So we dropped this new feature today, right? What is it doing in the next 2 weeks? Okay, we noticed that over 20% of our customers or of our users are unable to proceed after registering their account. Okay, and we've implemented a video to explain to them how to register. How many people are registering now? Now that we've fixed that issue, or now that then you iterate on those based on the feedback you get, you also iterate. Then another important thing is document the learning. Trust me, this cannot be overemphasized. Document learning. I know that some guru likes to keep things in their brain, but the truth is, if you keep keeping things in your brain, right? Of course, we are all human. You get lost in a lot of compiled things that is in your brain. Not even in a country where everything is kind of messed up right now. Talking about Nigeria, document, document, not just for yourself, but for others coming in after you, for others in your team. So they know the reason why you did this. They understand the rationale behind the reason why you did not do this and fix this. So it's going to keep the entire team informed and full understanding of what exactly was done before they arrived there. So yeah, those are basically the strategies to enhance UX. Like I said, I informed us earlier that I have like a little game for us. So we're kind of getting close to the tail of our presentation, and I hope we all are able to learn these different tricks and strategies that can actually help enhance UX. And I'm looking forward to our questions. So, but before we go to our questions, right? I have a question for us. So my question is, I'm going to allow one single person. So I'll pick at random. I'll check in with our list. So I'll be asking 3 questions, right? So my very first question, let me come to my let me come to the list here. Um, so who can tell me my very first UX question? Please raise your hand and I'll pick at random. Okay, Bami was actually the first person to raise her hand. So Bami, please speak.
Okay, your first US question was trying to find out why the altar or the pulpit basically in church is higher than the rest of the congregation.
Interesting. Okay, who would judge if she's correct? Let me call on. Okay, Stanley.
Okay, yes, she's correct.
Awesome. I'm glad you guys were following. Bami, I have something for you. All right, maybe later on. My second question is going to be, um, which of the different, can someone explain to me the way I said it in regards to the two-man period UX?
Sorry, what's the question
So
again,
just
sir?
raise your hand. I'll pick at. All right. So can you explain to me the way I said it in regards to the story of UX regarding the two masquerade? And I want you to name the two cultural masquerade. I'll call them cultural mascot I mentioned. Can see Tina or Tina, you have the floor.
Okay, hello. All right, thank you. So, you spoke about the Eyo and the Egungun masquerade. You said the Eyo has this feel of class and gentleness, like this masquerade kind of vibe. Why the Egungun just feels like it's going to attack you or flog you or something. So that's the different
Hmm.
feedback they both offer.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Interesting. And Tina, do you understand the user experience behind it?
Um,
Do you
it just
understand the
explains
concept of
that
UX? Okay.
yes. it means that whatever you are designing, literally it doesn't even have to apply to design, like in everything, like there's a feedback it gives the user, whatever it
Mhm.
is that you're designing or you're creating or you're doing.
Awesome. Thank you, Tina. I have something for you as well. So my last question, I'm hoping a guy is going to respond to this, so we have a gender balance. Can you tell me two of the strategies I mentioned that help that you can use in enhancing your UX after product launch? I'm surprised women are winning this. Okay. So we have Tina and Bami. Please, I'll probably get the details from the host later. So the first person to raise her hand was actually Bella, right? So I'll take two from Bella and I'll as well take two from Stanley. So Bella, please, Stanley. After Bella, you go.
Okay, you said you should be able to collect user feedback and analyze user data.
Okay. Interesting.
So,
Thank you,
yeah.
Bella. Yeah, I think that was actually correct. Stanley.
Okay. You talked about optimizing usability
Mm-hmm.
and improving accessibility.
Mm. All right, thank you very much. So I have four people. Please, the host, I'll be glad if I get the details of those people. So thank you very much. You guys have been an amazing audience. I'm glad you all are following, and it's amazing grace, right? To everyone. Thank you very much. So
Wow.
we're here at our destination. Thank you, guys.
Wow. Thank you very much. Guys, please join me as we give the emojis, clap, I beg. This one is very, very wow. The teaching alone on that user experience, the perspective, honestly, that is not just about design, and it's very, very correct. It touches on all facets, everything, all facets. Wow, wow. Thank you so much, sir. I know that I'm impacted. Even everybody, they are all impacted. Don't worry, you ask your questions now. I'm coming. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. So, okay, if you have any questions, we'll go in the orderly way. Tina, you have any question, Tina? Okay, because I can see Tina. Okay. Please, Clement, you have a question?
I'm writing it down. When I'm done, I'll come.
Okay, when you're done. Okay, Clement, are you ready for your question? Okay, let me ask before Tina is ready. Okay, sir, please, I'd like you to throw more light
No, I
on
don't have a question. So sorry, it was a
okay,
mistake.
because your hand is up. Okay, so
All right.
sir, I'd like you. Okay, Ebenezer, you said no more, sir. Ebenezer, I'd like you to throw more light on feedback loops. On feedback loops, I'd like you to throw a little bit of more light on that aspect. Thank you very much.
All right. So thank you very much for the question. I like questions a lot. Like I said, I like feedback as well. So the ideology of feedback loops is to, because like I said, if you fail to plan, you're always planning to fail, definitely. So the ideology of feedback loop is for you to be able to get available how your users actually use a particular platform. So imagine when I was speaking about my first UX question, I mentioned that I was looking to actually write and keep in a suggestion box. The reason why my pastor put it is at the top. If there was no room for suggestion box, or if there was no suggestion box, right, there will be a chance for me to actually explain or speak about my experience. Imagine a website that doesn't have a form to speak to you about your experience. So sometimes your feedback loop might not exactly be in form format. It could be in form of, okay, when they click this button, there's a recording on your database to say, okay, yeah, this is the hot spot where it was clicked. Or maybe when they touch base on this area, this is the feeling I want to have on the back end. So I have an understanding of, oh, okay, yeah, this is what this person is doing, this is what they are doing, and this is how I can actually help them get those things done better.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, Bella, do you have a question, Bella?
Yes, I do.
Okay, okay, you
Okay,
can
so I
ask your.
want to
Okay, proceed.
okay, so I want to ask, is every user important? Or
All right.
only you just design for users that give you feedback on your product?
No, every user is important. And speaking on the ideology of feedback loop, the the feedback you're expecting from your user doesn't have to necessarily be a conscious feedback. So what I mean by conscious feedback is the user having to go and start complaining, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. No. Sometimes you are just trying to track what they are doing. Okay, how long are they spending on your landing page? Are they even scrolling to the bottom? Are they even going through the area of testimonial? I can assure you, a lot of websites today, less than over 80% don't even scroll to the bottom. And a lot of product designers or a lot of designers, they hide a lot of information like testimonials at the bottom, where testimonial can be at the top, where people can actually read. So you're not just creating that solution or the enhancement for the conscious user that says, oh, okay, I cannot do this account that is making complaints. No, all your users are very, very important, and you should cater for everyone. I hope I'm able to answer your question, Bella.
Yes, you were. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, okay. I think I have a question about two more questions, but okay, let me ask that of Deb Balogo. She asked,
Okay.
what typical challenges that the designer should likely expect post-launch of any product, if there are any? And she says,
Hmm.
amazing presentation, by the way.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you. Okay, I think Deb. Yeah. Thank you, Deb. So there will be a lot. Trust me, there will be a lot of challenges because not every time things go smoothly. So, but the things to expect should center around your feedback, right? They should all centered around you having an understanding of what those users actually are doing with your product. So if like I mentioned an example earlier, are they finding difficulty scrolling down? Are they having issues with the call to action button? Are they even finding the entire product difficult to use? Right? There are a lot of different challenges that can come from it. So, but depending on the what's it called, work environment that you have, sometimes you might be in a work environment that foster research and foster the use of feedback to recreate. For you as a designer, if you're in an environment and an organization where feedback or research is not as important, right? That could be a challenge for you as a designer. If you're in an environment that fosters research, that fosters feedback, that fosters testing and all, it might not be as much, but it's very, very important that create your feedback loop, have an understanding of how the users are using the product, and based on those feedback, do your analysis and find a way to solve that problem for the user. I hope I'm able to answer your question, Deb. Awesome. And thanks for the comment, by the way.
Okay, it looks like Adeyemi Raphael has a question. Your hand is raised up. Do you have a question, sir? Raphael? Okay. Raphael,
Yes,
are
I
you
do.
you have okay, all right, proceed.
All right. Good evening. Sorry I came late, so but I couldn't follow up with the whole lecture. But then I have a question regarding to UX in general. So so, sorry about that. So I've been seeing a whole lot of saying carrying out research. It does UX research. So now I want to ask because it's kind of confusing me. There was a time I checked what's it called? PAMP and OP. I discovered that they have the same interface and almost the same interaction. So it's the only difference between them is just uh their color, that's the brand color now. So now I want to ask, like in UX, carrying out research, does what is that what I mean, is that what really shape how an interface will look like? Like the research you carry out now, is it that research that will shape how your interface will look like? That's in UX research now, trying to know your audience and whatsoever. Is it what will actually affect your interface, how your interface will look, how the whole structure will look like?
Um,
Uh, all right. So thank you very much, Raphael, for
Follow,
that question.
follow.
Clement, your mic
so
is on. Can you mute, please? Thank you. So, Raphael, you asked a very valid question, right? And it's a question that is very, very puzzling in this new generation of product designers. Everybody just wants to go to Pinterest and do exactly what is on Pinterest and just move on. I'm saying this because I'm also a product designer at art, even before I started being a user researcher. So to answer your question, yes and no. So the reason I'm saying yes is that when the main reason for doing user research, like it says, user research, not design research, not color research, not anything research. The fundamental of user research initially is to have an understanding of what the user wants, what the user resonates with, and the level of desirability for the user. Okay, is this user having the issue of breathing? Can I create a product that can make them breathe? Is this user having an issue of making fund transfer? Can I create a solution that can make fund transfer good and interesting? So now coming into the realm of design. So when you start building your interface, right, you want to do some, I know, of course, you must have gone through the idea of ideating based on the user feedback or based on the user research you've done. You ideate, you come up with your different ideas. We have a lot of methodologies for that, the crazy eight, the chimps, lots of different methodologies. So, but when it comes to the realm of design, right, you only engage in maybe usability testing, group testing to see how well people are resonating with your design. So the fundamental reason for user research is to understand what exactly the user needs and wants. At that point, you don't even know if you are going to do design or not. Interesting thing, I have a very, very amazing boss that used to speak about this thing a lot. Said, when you are coming to do user research, drop your Figma outside of the gate. Don't come into the meeting with your Figma. Let your Figma, in fact, let anything product leave your head. First of all, focus on what the user is going through and how you can solve the problem. And when you do, there are various ways to actually create design. Trust me, if you see a design, like take for example the interface of Google Meet, there are thousands of ways. If you give it to Raf yourself, you might express it in a different way. I would express it. Tiana will express it. Bami will express it a different way. Maybe Emeka, Michael, express it in different ways. But the fundamental of your user research is to understand the pain point and come from the perspective of what your user actually needs. I hope I'm able to answer your question, Raf.
Yes. Thank you very much.
All right, awesome.
Okay, all right, sir. I have my own question. Okay, while you were presenting your taking us, you mentioned about not doing a complete overhaul. You mentioned doing it would I say bit by bit or prioritizing enhancements, if I'm not mistaken. And I think you at that point that you brought out Toyota Camry, is it 2013 and then 2014 model or thereabouts. So, but I've also seen a particular, would I say, a product or a franchise that a complete overhaul was done. I think it was a bank setting, and I kept thinking in my head, there was no change of ownership, there was no change of this, but there was just like a brand redesign. Their colors just changed, everything, both their app and all of that. Still the same product. So I want to find out at what point does it get to before you embark on what we call a complete overhaul, or is there just no need for it at all?
All right. So thank you very much for that question. So when you speak about overall and branding, is different from users. So sometimes when overhaul happens, is as a result of the decision of the stakeholders. So in terms of, okay, we don't just want this, we want exactly this. So a lot of time, right, I don't advise overall. And in fact, overall is always shown against. The reason is because Ebenezer, let me use myself as an example. I'm used to typing www.google.com and I'll put my information in the search. Imagine if it now becomes www.google.com. Then it now shows you something like sign in, put your phone number, put your password, put the name of country that you are in. Then when I'm done with that, then it now opens Google search. Trust me, if another Google comes in, I'll prefer to go and use that one that looks similar to the previous one I was using. And Google at that point might lose me. So a lot of time, overhaul, yeah, it happens, but it's mostly as a decision of the stakeholders. I don't think there's a product that people have been very accustomed to and is advisable to just change everything from start to finish. And when you talk about branding, is a different perspective to user research.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. I think I have one more
All right.
question again. Yeah. You mentioned, and could I call it an okay? You mentioned an update. I think using the WhatsApp. Look, I know normally before if it's sent to somebody on WhatsApp, it goes out compressed, thereby reducing quality until probably as a result of the feedback loops, like you mentioned, WhatsApp now had to do an update that came up with the HD feature. So I want to ask, at what interval or at what point duration do you update or prioritize your enhancement of a particular product?
Please, can you come again?
Okay. Now, okay, I think at what time frame? Because there are some product or apps that you keep seeing. Maybe each time you keep going to Play Store, you will see updates every time, updates every time. Then you keep wondering, this year update is not becoming too much. I want to ask, at what point does it seem right to balance probably prioritizing your enhancement of a particular product? Don't know if you get me now.
All right. Yeah, I do. Thank you very much for the question. So when you see the update that comes on the app, right, it doesn't exactly have to mean they are updating things on the user experience side. It could be a security patch, it could be a backend adjustment, it could be a logic adjustment. So the update you are seeing that comes from your Play Store or your respective phone store, right, doesn't mean they're exactly changing the user experience. But when your user are not comfortable with something, right, that is the point where you need to actually help them out. So it doesn't, in fact, sometimes when you are changing and you're making adjustments, that doesn't exactly mean you have to change a lot of things. Sometimes it might be the text size. Sometimes it might be a UX writer that will just communicate the action better. So when we speak about feedback loop and fixing the issue, it doesn't exactly have to be that big thing it might just be a simple thing of simple command prompt, simple button color, simple text adjustment, or maybe the text that was there before was not well written and you're writing it in a very simpler form. That could easily just solve the problem. So to answer your question in simple terms, um it's not every time you change updates, right? The updates you continuously see on your app store or whatever is sometimes might be as a result of a simple security patch and doesn't have anything to do with user experience. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much for that. Thank you, sir. Okay, I think
You're
Abraham,
welcome.
your hands are up. You have a question, Abraham, is it?
Yes, I do have a question.
Proceed, sir.
Thank, thank you very much, sir. Sir, I wanted to ask. You mentioned about you developing a product and launching it into market with your friends. So I wanted to know
Yeah.
how was the process like from the ideation to the launch. You already said a lot of them, but what were the like I wish I knew this, or what were those mistakes you made that you wish you had not, or what were those skills that you feel like, okay, if I had this skill, you would have actually enhanced or made the product development faster? Or what advice can you give for someone who is planning to launch his own product? Thank you so much.
Um, all right. So, in terms of if I want to give you advice on your product launch, I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of it because you are not so super specific in the area you want the advice on. However, if I have one thing I feel like I did not learn. So the product is not the first that I'm going to actually launch. I've launched a couple of other products that had failed. But interestingly, this kind of did well when we got to the market. And one thing I've learned is you don't have to finish it up. You don't have to build the biggest and best app or product or whatever it is. You just have to fix a problem. The moment you shift your ideology of a product from just building to fixing a problem, then you are going to see your product or your service or whatever it is in a different perspective. So the mistake I've always made in my previous product that failed was that I was focused after learning about what I want to fix. I was focusing more on, okay, let me just make it good. Let me just make it nice. However, I just need to solve a simple problem. So, and the product I mentioned at the launch that is doing well in the market is the name of the product is called Esosa. It's an AI travel company. So what stood out to me in that project, one of the reasons why it's kind of successful was I was able to solve a simple problem. I did not overthink it. I understood what the people want. We created what exactly people need, right? Not what the user informed us that they want, and we'll put it out to the market. So yeah, if you still need me to emphasize on a particular subject area, please be free to ask.
Sir, you nailed it, sir. You made me understand it, sir. It's more about the
All right, awesome,
problem. Yeah, I get it. I get it, sir. Thank you so much.
awesome. All right, you're welcome.
Okay, yes, I think Michael, you have a question to ask us. Raphael, will come to you, please. Michael, your hands are up. You have a question to ask us.
Yes,
All right,
good evening.
proceed.
Thank you for this session. I want to ask, is it possible that like the solution a product is providing can overshadow the essence of enhancing the UX in the sense that people are just engrossed with, okay, this is providing a new solution and there's no need for maybe enhancing the user experience. Okay. Why I'm asking is that, okay, probably, okay, now the navigation of Android and iPhone is quite different. And like some people, I know that the feedback of some people is that I didn't even know how to use this iPhone, like because of the navigation to go back and to do some things. But then because they are providing a solution that is unique, it overshadows that. Or also I can look at the product like Tesla now. Because they are providing a unique solution like a cyber truck, nobody care about how the car looks like, how it feels, and all those flaws. People overlook that. So can the essence of the product, or what I said earlier, that what the product is providing, how useful it is, can it overshadow the essence of enhancing the UX? The UX.
All right. So I have an analogy for you, Michael. I think one of the best products that has ever been designed is going to be human being because I believe God is the greatest designer ever. Do you understand that we still need glasses to see better? So
Yes, yes.
there's never a perfect product. There will always be an avenue to enhance, right? So if God never restricted us to actually enhance our vision, enhance our health, enhance our mental health, enhance a lot of other things, then why can't you? So to address your question directly, right? Like I said, the product did not come in play because of itself. The product came in play as a result of you wanting to fix a user problem. So if at a point the user problem has gravitated into something bigger, of course, the user is why the product exists in the first place. I hope I'm able to answer your question, Michael.
Yes, I'm following you.
All right. So what it is that let the user be the center of focus of whatever you are going to do, navigation wise, design wise, adjustment wise, enhancement wise. Let it all be centered around the user.
Yeah. Sorry,
All right.
and the second question I have is that, okay, if you are coming up with something, let's say unique, you are coming up with a user experience that is, let me say, put it different or unique. And definitely, the first thing that might come to people's mind or the feedback of people might be maybe somehow poor because it's not something that people are used to. Okay, I'm just talking about like you are coming with a design of a platform. People know that the normal way, this is how it is. Okay, for instance, now, Pampi now. The first time I opened Pampi, I look at, there are too much things to click. Normally, bank should have few things to press. And later, okay, I just look at it that I just think it's unique. But at first, I had a feedback that is negative. So how over time I just begin to have positive feedback. So how will you manage that time if they've already gone with my feedback that or many people's feedback that it's just clumsy, it's clumsy, and then they are trying to adjust to meet the user, like that uniqueness will be lost. So I'm trying
Okay.
to, the question now is that, okay, the feedback, how will we just check our feedback that this feedback, this feedback is coming because I'm unique, or this feedback is coming because my UX is poor, the experience is poor.
All right. So I don't work at Pampi. I really don't have an idea of their rationale to have lots of different icons. But one thing I can say is that if they had done their due diligence, which I believe they have, the reason why they have lots of buttons on their screen is going to be 100% that the user that are using it actually requires it. So you had a negative feedback, then later you have a positive feedback. It means they've done a good job. And maybe a couple of different feedback they got was what made them arrive at those different loads of icons that they have. Like I said, again, I don't work there. I don't have an understanding of how their process works. But if they have gone through the right and due diligence, and you said it, you could testify to it that after a couple of while, you go used to it and you feel like, yeah, it's actually not bad after all. Then it means they've done a good job. Mike, I hope I was able to answer your question.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you.
All right.
You've answered.
All right.
Okay, so Raphael, are you ready for your question now?
Yes, yes. Okay, good evening once again. My question is still going to be, I'm going to use a fintech as an illustration. So, for instance, PanPay and OP. Now, you said something about the whole concept of UX is trying to solve a problem. So now, my question is, for instance, now in the banking sector, now that's the fintech now, does it mean that a particular company or a particular product can't solve multiple problems? Now, let me break it down further. Using PalmPay, for instance, now, I don't know which one comes first before OP, but let me just say PalmPay. Now, the I don't use PalmPay either, so I use OP instead. So, but let me just use PalmPay, for instance, as my illustration. Now, they also offer this service as maybe you transferring money, making transaction, saving money. You can save money. You also get a cash back. They call their own, I think, farm credit or something like that. Now, same thing to OP. You get a cash back whenever you do transactions, such as maybe you recharge and stuff like that. So now, does it mean that now why should we have OP? Since PalmPay already has this solution, because you, of course, when you make transaction by card, you still tend to make some some income from there, I mean some cashback. Is it that carrying out research now, carrying out user research, what problem have they solved? That's for opener, for instance, what problem have they solved? Because the same service Pampe product is rendering is still the same service OP is rendering, and probably we still have users who uses who uses both products. So like, does it mean that in terms of solving problem now, how do they come about solving problem? What problem have they solved? Since it seems the user who uses Pampe is still the same user who is using OP. So like, how were they able to solve problem? I don't know if my question is clear enough.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was muted. Thank you very much, Raphael, for your question. So I think it's interesting that a lot of us on this call are using OP and Pampi. It's like a lot of people have money, and I think it's a good feedback. So speaking to Pampe and OP, right? I am really not part of their board of directors. I don't know if, but one thing I know about based on my experience is that there's competition. It's like you wanting to woo a lady, Raphael, and your face looks like someone that woo a lot of ladies there, by the way. It's like you wanting to woo a lady, right? You're not the only one looking to woo the lady. Maybe there are like several other people. And maybe the lady informed you that, oh, okay, when this girl was asking me out or when he was speaking to me, he spoke to me about a book called Atomic Habits. I'm reading Atomic Habits, by the way. The Atomic Habit is what he read. Then you not say that, oh, okay, that guy read Atomic Habits. Did you like him at all? And the girl was like, yeah, I'm on the girl was sounding smart. Then you decided to go and read Atomic Habits. Then you came to and in fact, not just Atomic Habits. Maybe you picked Rich Dad and Poor Dad alongside. And you started explaining to the girl, oh, okay, so. That doesn't mean you and the guy, you are fighting each other, or maybe you are trying to create something that is better or whatsoever. There's always room to compete in the market space. And if two people decide to compete, if your stakeholders are saying we are trying to compete with this person, there's no bad track in there. So the idea of competition has been from onset and it will continue to be. So in the case and scenario you painted, it felt like a competition.
Okay, so that does not necessarily mean that it was maybe a user research something trying to solve a particular problem.
No.
All right, all right.
All right.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir. We've really stretched beyond the closing time. Thank you so much, Mr. Ebenezer. Thank
It's fine. Anything to impact people. I'm
you.
proud of it.
We are really, really impacted. Trust me, trust me, trust me. Are there any questions before we bring the meeting to a close? Bella, your hand was up before. Are there any more questions?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I wanted to ask, how do you design a scalable product? Because I want to believe that when you're conducting a research, you build based on the particular information that you have now, and then there'll be continuous iteration and feedback, and then you realize that okay, you have to add more features or you have to add more things to the application to serve your users. So in that beginning phase, because that's a problem I'm facing now. It's an app I designed, and I the research I made or I did wasn't exactly extensive, but more like the stakeholders now started having a lot of other things they wanted to add to the application. And the way I designed the app from the get-go, adding those features now started becoming a hassle. So I really want to know from the beginning stage, at the beginning stage, how do you design a scalable app or website? Like design the application in a way that even if you decide to add more features or there are other things that you need to add to the product, it would accommodate it.
Okay, so Bella, I have a question for you. Do you cook?
Yes, I cook.
Okay, I'm driving at a point actually. Can you cook rice for
Yes, I
four people?
can.
All right.
Yes, I can.
So do you think there's a difference between the kind of ingredient that you use in cooking for 4 and cooking for 100?
Yes, and also the quantity. The quantity also
All right.
plays a part.
Oh, okay. So meaning that if you are cooking for 4, you are kind of expanding on the quantity of the things you cook to make preparation for 100. So it's the same way it is
Yes.
in the user experience space as well. So if your initial specimen was 4 and you are trying to scale, maybe go to maybe Canada or whatsoever, all you just have to do is to understand, oh, okay, are we cooking party jollof rice here? Or is it a family gathering? Okay, for party jollof rice, there's a signature of adding liver. Okay, maybe if it's within maybe an household, maybe there's no need to add liver. So I use that analogy for you to have an understanding that creating a product for a million, creating based on your question of scaling up, creating a product for a million, creating a product for 100 people doesn't exactly have, so far they are still around the same category of users, they need the same thing, no problem. Then in some cases, I think your question is divided into two, you kind of melded them into one. Your second question is in terms of maybe if a stakeholder is saying they want to add this, they want to add that. In some cases, right, we might be working with some stakeholders, most likely, mostly in Nigeria. In the foreign countries, no, it's not always like that, where people are always willing to listen and act based on research and data. But a lot of times, the stakeholders might see things that you do not see. The stakeholders might see some engagement you do not see. So maybe the reason why they want some changes is as a result of those things they see that you do not see actually. Because lots of times stakeholders speak to organizations, stakeholders want to have partnership with some people. Of course, to a stakeholder, right, is not 100% user research. The reason why you're in the team is for you to be the speaker of the user. So you can always try as much as possible to persuade them that, oh, okay, if we do this, this is going to be mended up. If we do this is going to, and actually bring out data to back whatever you are saying. So I feel that should actually help. I hope I'm able to answer your question, Bella.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
Awesome. All right.
Wow, thank you very much, sir. I really like the way you use analogies most time to help us understand better. Thank you very much, sir. Please, guys, join me as we say a very big thank you to Ebenezer Tokbe. Please, send me your emojis. I don't know about you, but my horizon has really been expanded this evening. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Your knowledge is just superb. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. So, but sir, please, I'd like to make a request. I don't know if it's possible for you to share the slide with me for this participant or student or anybody that would want to really catch up on everything, maybe go back to it so that I can as well share or forward the slides to them, sir.
All right, no problem. I guess the call was recorded as well, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The video link is available
Okay,
for them to watch it also.
no problem. You guys could just shoot me an email, then I'll forward it to you guys.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, also, sir, you
Awesome.
mentioned that for the game, you mentioned that there are 4 participants now that won your game, or is it 3, sir?
Yeah,
4.
I think there are
Okay,
4. We have
yeah.
Bami, Bella. I have a book for all of them. So maybe you could just send me their email, or I'll maybe get across to your team. Then they can dispatch the stuffs to them.
All right, no problem. Thank you very much. So please, Bami, Bella, and the other 2 participants that won Ebenezer's game, please do well to reach out to us via Instagram. Just Perxels and then send me a DM with your details, and I'll forward it to our impactful speaker for this evening. And I think as well from Perxels also, Bella and Deb Balogun and Emotion Chime also won airtime. So please do well to reach out to me also via Instagram, Perxels. And please join me again as we say a very big thank you to our speaker for this evening. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time,
Thank you very much.
your diligence. Thank you. Thank you. We are so glad to have had you this evening. Thank you once again, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, everyone, and cheers.
Thank you. All right, so we have come to the end of this meeting So please, for further inquiries, you can reach out to us, Perxels, via Instagram, or you can check perxels.com for more information. Thank you. It was nice to have you on this evening. So once again, Deb Balogun, Bella, and Emotion Chime, reach out to me for your airtime. Why Bella, Bami, and I think, I don't know, 2 other people also, you have 4. Reach out to me also, so I will forward your details to the speaker for your gift you want during games. Thank you once again, and good night to all of you. Wishing you a wonderful new week and looking forward to seeing you in our next DDS program. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you very much.